we're about to embark on this thing called the Waimakariri Land and Water Solutions Program. And essentially it's looking at how water and land is managed in this zone. And to understand where improvements can be made, the first step is to quantify where we are now. So how do we do that? Myself and the project team over the last couple of years have been going around collecting data and observing different elements of our environment, and recently reported on via 9 reports. And those 9 reports cover the 4 wellbeings: cultural, social, economic, and environmental. And I guess the intent of tonight is to present what we have come up with over the last couple of years and start getting some feedback from you. Have we missed anything? Is there anything that you think that should be included? So tonight, there's quite a lot of information covered in those technical reports, and it'll be impossible to present it to you all tonight. So we're going to concentrate on some key points. And I'm not going to read through them, but they are listed on this page here. And as the presenters are going through, we'll just highlight these key points. As I said just before, there's quite a lot of information. We've got a lot of technical reports that are on the website. We've got the summary report, which is hopefully a view of all those reports that have been produced so far. And tonight we're going to have this conversation, or start the conversation about where we are today. I'd just like to point out that we have a website, www.waimakariri.water.nz, and all the reports, the summary document, and some interactive work is currently on there. So if you want to, feel free after tonight or tomorrow to go have a play. So over the next couple of scenes, basically what I do is set the scene, a very high level scene, and then I'm going to pass over to other presenters who are going to talk about their particular disciplines. So the Waimakariri zone. This slide here shows 2 boundaries. The black line is the zone for the boundary that we are looking at, and the purple line is the district boundary. They're very similar, but there's one difference, and that being that the black line covers the catchments, the major catchments of the district. The difference is that all the water that flows into the zone is captured in that black line. And as we go through the presentation today, that black line is the one that will be shown throughout. So in terms of people in the zone, there's approximately 56,000 people, and most of those people live in the urban centres, and the 5 main urban centres: Oxford, Rangiora, Kaiapoi, Woodend, and Pegasus. But interestingly enough, about 77% of people live in the southeast of the district. So between the Waimakariri and the Ashley, and eastwards of Two Chain Road. There's a really interesting mix of land uses in this zone, and different from many other zones in Canterbury. You get lifestyle blocks and urban centres, and a mix of rural. And they all have their own challenges and opportunities. And in my opinion, it's a unique mix of lifestyle, of land uses. One of the things that jumps out at me about this zone is the recreational opportunities throughout the district. So there's kayaking, jet boating, fishing, swimming throughout this area. And it attracts not only people within the zone, but also from Christchurch and coming and exploring and playing in this zone. So this map here is showing soil drainage. The purple and the blues are soils that are either very poorly or poorly drained, and the browns are the more free draining soils. And I throw this up here to just give you the pattern. You'll notice that we don't have any data for Lees Valley. There has been recently a survey done there. I just don't have that data to hand. Generally what I see in this is heavier soils towards the coast, where it used to be wetlands that have now subsequently been drained. And you also get a lot of the heavier soils around the coast, the foothills margin, and along rivers and on the Maraku Downs. As many of you are aware, at the moment we're currently experiencing a dry period. This is the third dry year in a row, and it's having an impact on resources and demand for water in particular. But generally, in terms of climate, average annual rainfall tends to increase from the coast into the foothills. So at the coast, generally you get somewhere between 600 and 650 mils average annual rainfall, and in Lees Valley you might get over 1,200 mils per year. Average annual potential evaporation does the exact opposite. So at the coast you have higher AET, and towards the hills you have lower. Taking into account the soils and the climate, you often have soil moisture deficits, particularly around this area on average. In the zone, as many of you are aware, it can be quite tough to find water. As an example of that, we had a stock water scheme put in about 1896, and its job was to provide water across the central part of the Ashley Waimakariri Plains. So it's approximately 1,400 kilometres, and it provides water supplied from the Waimakariri River. And as many of you are aware, it's quite difficult to find other water resources in the zone. For instance, up in Lowburn, it's quite difficult to find groundwater, and even many of the surface water streams tend to go dry as they cross the plains. Typically it's quite difficult to find groundwater around Ewell Forest, and occasionally, or it is quite difficult to find groundwater in here. And in terms of surface water resources, it tends to be constricted to the Springford streams in the lower areas, the Ashley River, and of course the Waimakariri on the other boundary. The Cust, of course, Cust and the Cust Main Drain, obviously it flows a little bit up here, goes dry down here, and flows quite a bit as we get to lower end. So this is the last slide of the introduction. You take into account the average soils and the climate data, and it's no surprise that a bulk of the irrigation is centred in that mid-plains there. We estimate that there's approximately 37,000 hectares of irrigation as of April this year, and this includes 3 irrigation schemes, the biggest of which is the Waimak Irrigation Limited, and the command area is highlighted in this purple here. Waimakariri Irrigation Limited takes approximately 10.5 cubic metres per second during the irrigation season from the Waimakariri and distributes it across the plains. So I guess just to summarise a couple of those key points, in my opinion there's quite a unique mix of urban and lifestyle and rural in this zone. We're currently experiencing a drought, and this is the 3rd dry year in a row, and part of this zone is quite water short.